Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. Glad you're with us here today. It is the Dr. Alice Benton birthday show.
Yay!
Alice, happy birthday,
Alice.
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alice. Happy birthday.
Oh, we're not going to get to hear you sing, Steve?
No,
Okay.
I'm doing oratory now.
Okay.
Anyway, happy birthday.
And check this out. It's my husband's birthday the day before mine, which always helps me remember is to celebrate it. And we love to go out to dinner together. But in this time, we're going to go get Chinese food and sit in the car and eat it. That's going to be our big date away from our kids.
Well, that's probably
I'm
a
sure,
birthday gift.
yeah.
Even though your kids are wonderful, it's a lot of togetherness right now,
It sure
right?
is.
It really is. Hey, I don't know if you saw this, but speaking of eating out but not eating out, a little boy had a birthday, and the dad takes the little electric grill into the dining room and does the hibachi grill thing. With got his hat, it's like a sack, and it was so cute. Anyway, Alice, I hope that, and I'm sure the family will make it very special for you.
Mm-hmm.
And just to honor you today, we've done nothing, but we
There's a card in the mail somewhere.
hope it's good. Really hope it's good. But in honor of your birthday, we're going to let you take all the calls, and we're just going to To that end, I want to go right to the calls. I want to talk with Teresa from Louisville, Kentucky. You are on. She is the station she listens to is WFIA. Hi, Teresa. How are you today?
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Doing great.
Yep. Please do us a favor. It may be the last time. Wish Alice happy birthday, and then we'd love to hear.
Happy birthday, Alice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yes.
How can we help you today? What's going on?
Yes, I'm concerned about dating someone that may be unequally yoked. How would I go about it? I'm a Christian, born again, and he does not go to church. He does not read his word daily. And but we have a lot of other things in common. He is open to praying with me, but I was just concerned about being unequally yoked. What would you suggest?
That's so sad, isn't it? For someone to be a nice guy that you like and everything, but not really qualified to be your husband, right?
Right, because I want someone to love the Lord more than he loves me. I feel like I would be loved the way I need to be.
Right. Well, and I think that is a good question, Teresa, that not enough Christians think about, is that even, just having someone that's saved, if you're a very seasoned Christian, you might not be in the same spot spiritually, emotionally, right? And that can be really difficult to see how that plays out in a marriage relationship. And I guess, in thinking about how you view moving forward in a partnership and what you would want, I'm imagining that church would be a part of that. And I'm wondering what he envisions moving forward when that's such an important piece in your world, right? In your worldview as a Christian. And not that you're saying you're going to marry him, but just, how does he see that? Because that affects your dating now, right?
Right.
And so
he works on Sundays right now.
Yeah, we're going to give you some help after this. How old are you, by the way, Teresa?
56.
And have you ever been married?
Yes, for over 22 years.
Okay. All right, we'll get to this. Glad you called. We'll be back.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Alice?
Oh.
We're dealing with the unequally yoked issue. Maybe I'm not even connected. I don't know.
Now,
Can you guys
now
hear me?
you are.
good now.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so Teresa, here's the question for you. We're a little bit confused. Is he a believer? Does he say he's a believer that doesn't read his Bible much, or is he not a believer that doesn't read his Bible much?
He believes in God, yes, and he does
Believes
not
in
read
God,
his
but
word.
he's not a Christian.
I would believe he would be a Christian, but he doesn't read his word. He does not go to church.
So he's not an actively growing Christian.
Possibly.
Okay.
Do you think he loves you?
Yes,
Why? Why do you think that?
just his actions. He's going out of his way to show he's interested and wants to do things right, wants to have a future.
And Teresa, do you hope to get married to him eventually?
I'm not for sure. I want to make sure that it's God's will first. I'm not going 100% until God is first in my life.
And how long have you been dating him?
Since December, January. January was when we
So
first
4 or 5
went
months.
out. Yes.
Okay.
I think
So,
God warns us against this so many times because we're likely to continue to get more of what we're receiving right now in a relationship. So I think you have to assume it likely will not change. But sometimes it does change. But God wants to safeguard us from what is generally inevitable, that a lukewarm believer or a non-believer generally won't change after marriage. So it is a caution you have to consider.
Well, and I love, Stephen, I don't know if you were going in this direction, but Teresa, everything you described about how you know he loves you, and I wonder if you could share that with him, that this is how you know, and that one of the things that you're wanting in a relationship is someone who loves God like you love God. And how we know if someone loves God is he does actions. There are actions that show, that demonstrate a love for God. When you love someone, you want to spend time with them. You want to please them. You seek after them. All the things that he does for you could be a relationship with the Lord as well. And those are the things that you're wondering about. Has he ever thought about that?
So Teresa, when you bring these concerns up with him, what does he have to say about the future of your relationship and faith?
He's open to them.
Okay.
He said he is open to them. He'll pray with me. He's open. He said he would go to church, but he hasn't yet because he does have a job on Sundays.
But there are churches in your area that meet on Saturday evening, so
That's right.
that wouldn't be an issue there if he did. But here's what I would just challenge you to try to discover, okay?
Okay.
It's this.
Yes.
What is the problem with faith and him? I think for someone to be an atheist, for instance, it takes more faith, I think, to think that all this is a big coincidence, that we got the right amount of air here and right amount of gravity, everything just works. And so if he's a believer in God, then is he a believer in God just like that created things and let us loose? Is he a believer in the God that is not just God the Creator, but God the Holy Spirit and God the Son who came and died for us? These are things that you need to understand. And if he isn't believing in that God, the true God, then he's kind of not really a believer in God. He's a believer in a God concept.
Okay.
And so while all of us want somebody, I just think there might be a life for you with someone else that would give you all the things you wanted. Or you might find yourself with him and married thinking, life would have been better if I had stayed single.
Right.
God doesn't want you to miss out on something, and so he says don't be unequally yoked. He wants you to have everything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I would do if I were you. I would say to him, if you love me and we've got a problem with faith, would you agree to us sit down with a pastor for 2 or 3 times and let a pastor help us see if things could be right for us or not? And then that pastor could help him deal with any kind of theological issue that maybe is standing in the way of him diving in all the way in the area of faith and the practice of that faith.
Okay,
Alice
so
and Jill?
a thought that I had, though, is maybe this is a guy that's unchurched and just doesn't completely understand and needs to be educated. And
There
that,
you go.
like the next 3 months, I like meeting with the pastor. What if he agreed to go and to get involved, and let's see what he does with it. Does his heart run with it? Right? It's like...
Because
There you go.
He did say he wanted to be where I am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
give
thing.
him some time to catch up a little bit, not all the time in the world, but you will be able to tell if he has a hunger and if this is something that he's willing to make his own, not just trying to please you by going through the motions.
Right.
And when you guys started dating, that wasn't that long ago. So, go slow here. But there's nothing that I'm hearing that says don't stop dating him
Right.
as you talk about that. And when he's saying, I want to be where you are, that's huge to hear that. Alice, your thoughts?
Well, if it's a pattern of him saying, yes, I do want to be involved, but not following through, if that continues, because you are describing that a little bit, so I want to caution you on that. Otherwise, you'll always have to be the initiator when
Right.
it comes to spirituality. And do you want that role in that job? Because resentment can build if you take it on, expecting that he will be the one to step up to it when he's not yet. So take that for what it is. The last thing I want you to consider is he influencing you to break any of your values or beliefs? Is he pushing for sex before marriage? Is he pushing for any behavior that's not in line with your beliefs? Be very careful about that, and please be honest.
Well, let's find out. Is
Okay.
he?
Is he? Yes. But he said he's willing to wait. But he is.
So he's still pushing for it, even though he's saying he's willing to wait?
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has
Okay.
not sold out to Jesus the way I am.
Right.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm going to rest on my advice to get you with the pastor. And,
yes.
And I'll send you a copy of this book, Is This the One? And I'm hoping and praying that he is the one, that he is going to move closer to the Lord. And you guys are going to experience some really great things together. I hope so. But I also hope you'll have the strength, if it's just not meant to be, that you could literally walk away and feel good about that. Well, it's not going to feel good, but that you could do it. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, we would love to help you. And I just hope and pray that you'll find on our website so many things that could help you during this crisis time. There are tip sheets, videos, books, resources. We can find a counselor for you. Whatever we can do, we want you to have it there. Go to the website, newlife.com, and you just might end up being really happy that you did. So 1-800-NEW-LIFE, newlife.com. We want to help you. All right, let's go back to the phones. And how about we talk with Ken? Ken's calling from Nashville, Tennessee. WNQM is the station there. Ken, how you doing? How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
My mother-in-law suffers from severe insomnia, and she has since I've known her for the past 20 years. And it just recently, within the last 2.5 years, she's not able to work, and then taken up to the last 6 months, it's gotten dire where she has attempted to suicide.
Oh my goodness. How sad is that?
And
what kind of help
she
is
is a
she
Christian.
getting
She's
for
a
this?
believer.
Yeah, what kind of help is she getting?
That's the thing. She's been to every doctor that she and her husband have gone to. She's been to several counselors. My wife's been up there. She lives in Baltimore, and I live in Nashville. But my wife's been up there. They tried to get her into a program, but she never, ever finishes what is started. So, for instance, a counselor might tell her to take a medication for a couple of weeks, and she'll take it for a couple of days and says it doesn't work. The same thing with the program. She went for a couple of days and said this is not going to work. And it's destroying her, but it's also destroying the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the question for us then?
Well, I want to know, because she keeps saying that the insomnia is causing all of her anxiety. I want to know if anxiety and mental disorders can cause this kind of insomnia. Medically, nobody can figure anything out.
Is she taking anything, any kind of medication for anxiety or insomnia?
Well, no, not on a regular basis. What she has told me is that when she's tried all of the sleep aids and that kind of stuff, and they will work for a little while, and then they will stop working. And now she's at the point where nothing works. If she takes like a sleep aid or something like that, she'll get maybe an hour rest, and then she's back up.
Okay.
And she's told me that it's the last 22 days she has not gotten more than an hour of sleep each day.
Okay, but that's just in the last 22 days, which
Right.
that could cause you to hallucinate.
Right.
Yeah, right, and be out of your mind. So that lack of sleep can mimic all kinds of disorders, for sure. And you're not getting someone who is a stable person when there is a lack of sleep like that.
Right.
Yes, there are, certainly chemical imbalances and disorders that can, that have insomnia that go along with that. But I'm assuming that you've done every possible workup kind of known to man, sleep studies, gone down those paths.
Yes.
Okay. And
She's
she's unwilling, is what you're saying, to change things.
That's the way it seems, because she never follows through with anything.
Okay.
She's went to a counselor, and then the counselor just said, look, there's nothing more I can do because you never follow through with what I'm telling you.
So I wonder what happens in the follow through. I wonder if she, is unable to follow through, sometimes due to a state of mind, fears, things like that. I'm wondering if there is some way to intervene and help her to follow through, meaning someone to give her the medication, someone to, be in charge of that, because she's sounding either so highly resistant or incapable.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, her husband is doing that. He tries to give her the medication. He does all of that, but nothing seems to work. She can't get sleep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel so bad for her.
No, I know.
But we as a family don't know what to do because we've tried going up there and trying to get her in the program, but that's not working either.
Mm-hmm. And what is the program?
She went into a outpatient program. It was just out because of the insurance reasons.
Okay, but what kind of program was it? For what? For sleep disorders?
I mean, no, it was a program for general mental health, as far as I know.
Okay.
I think they were going to try to diagnose some type of mental health.
Okay. Give you some help right after this. Sometimes people resist everything that could help. Learned helplessness. We'll be back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Talking with Ken about his mother-in-law, insomniac, resistant to anything, really. Long-term, gets on some kind of medication, won't take it. The therapist says, I can't help you. You won't do what I tell you to do. Alice, you have some thoughts here you want to start us off with?
Oh, Ken, this must be just terrifying for your family. Your mother-in-law attempted suicide. She's feeling crazy on so little sleep. So we recognize that this is complex and very overwhelming. And to your question, insomnia and disturbed sleep are a characteristic of many mental health disorders, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you know of trauma in your mother-in-law's life?
Yeah, there may have been some in her childhood. I I don't know all of that, but I mean, it's possible. But she's been to quote-unquote counselors, and they've never diagnosed her with anything, and that's what she uses as an excuse. I've never been diagnosed with anxiety, or I've never been diagnosed with anything.
Well, it seems like she hasn't given them a chance to learn enough to give her an accurate diagnosis, and that's why I'm thinking trauma, because if whatever the unresolved issue is in her heart and her mind is so scary for her that she doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, so she's running away from treatment right and left because it's overwhelming to look at her buried pain that she has.
And going to sleep might be really scary.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have control over those thoughts and feelings.
She prays to go to sleep. She really prays.
Well, I know on the one hand, but at the same time, there's this resistance resistance to anything that would help her sleep.
I see a spiritual side to insomnia at times, and I think it's always worth battling against with prayer. And if she's a believer, if she'd have any willingness to allow, you can do this with or without her permission, where the family gathers together in prayer to cover her, to protect her against any attacks of the enemy. The enemy loves to come at us at night and to keep us awake, because it does create so much turmoil, and it keeps everything elevated, just like what your mother-in-law is going through. So the spiritual side, especially if you men in the family will bond together in this and begin regular prayer for intervention on her behalf, I would try to reconnect her with a therapist who is skilled with trauma, who can kind of make therapy attractive to her so that she feels safe enough to stay with it. But if she still is suicidal, or if that arises again, then she may need to be hospitalized, perhaps even against her will, if she is suicidal. And if she'll admit that at the hospital, they can hold her to be able to treat her whether she wants it or not, or if you all can explain the situation. Sometimes that level of care is needed, but we want that to be the last resort.
Hey, Ken, just a question.
What was that?
Just a question. Why is it that you're the guy calling and not your wife, her daughter? You know, I'm just curious. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Absolutely. No, she has tried to, and she's done everything. We've prayed, and she's tried to do everything. She right now is angry at her mom, and she feels like she doesn't have a mother right now, and so she's angry. I understand that, and I also understand the other side too. But it's hard. I'm caught in the middle.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think there's just so much that you can do, and at some point, I do think you have to, if things get worse, you really do have to force her into some kind of care.
Well, and there's sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead.
In the short term, there are things you can do to literally knock her out, right? So that there is some sleep that takes place, that hopefully then she can be in a better state of mind to embrace some treatments. And I think the family coming together and really, lovingly confronting the fact that while it may feel completely out of her control, her resistance to being open to really receiving the help and the follow-through is in her control. And what do you all need to put in place to help her follow through if she's unable to?
The resistance is the problem. It's not the other stuff, see, because that's what you need to be addressing. Not how do we put her to sleep, how do we get her help. What's the resistance thing? That's what you address over everything else. She's been given medication. She takes it 2 or 3 days, quits taking it. There's medication, it requires 30 days for it to have any kind of impact whatsoever. So all of this combined with a resistant patient produces many times an impossible scenario until she is willing. Boy, willingness, that's the big one.
And what is she getting out of staying in this state, right?
Yeah. All right, let me send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Maybe there's something in that workbook for her that could help.
And
Alice,
we have a great interventionist. And even though this is not a substance use problem, but Jill, your idea of the family gathering together and lovingly confronting mother-in-law with this, an interventionist could really quarterback that well.
Could be the key. Well, I was going to go to you, Jane. Hold on. We're going to have a little break here. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. Got an Every Man's Battle workshop coming right up. I mean, it's 9 days away, so sign up now. If you are with somebody that needs to sign up, you call us and get the information, give it to them. We had a great result from Every Man's Battle just a couple weeks ago. Changes everything. Oh my goodness, so many things are different after Every Man's Battle workshop. We'll take this break. We'll come back with your phone calls. If you need help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and a lot of things for us during the corona crisis right there at newlife.com. If you need some help, we've got it for you. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Jane, you hold on. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio. Larry, end of the month, and well, is this ever a different world than it was at the beginning of this month?
Talk to us. It is. Well, Club, first, I cannot emphasize enough every day. I'm sorry if you're getting tired of this, but thank you, Club New Life members. You guys are holding us up in a big way, and that's really important. And I wanted to just, early in this coronavirus thing, there was so much fear and uncertainty, and I think it's kind of eased up a little bit because we're kind of getting used to this new abnormal. But there was a letter from a rabbi that I thought was really good. I just wanted to quote from just a couple short things. He says, "Close your eyes and feel the uncertainty. Make peace with it. Let yourself be taken by it. Embrace your cluelessness, because in all the confusion, there's one thing you know for sure. You're in God's hands. Keep calm. Panic and fear are contagious. Take every precaution as advised by the health authorities. Wash your hands well. And every time you do, remember whose hands you're in." That's good. And I just love that. I just like to give assurance to folks. And, we have not panicked, we at New Life, because we believe and we have hope, and we believe that you folks are the answer. God is working through people, as he always does. And someone will make a nice gift. Someone will join Club New Life. But things are going well. And like I said, we don't know how this is all going to end, this coronavirus thing, but we have great confidence that when it ends, we're going to be there in good shape and carrying on just as we have been for 31 years. So,
well, fortunately, Larry, because of you, we weren't just walking around acting like everything would be okay forever. We have run a tight ship, and we haven't been desperate during this. Sometimes people respond to desperate ministries, but we need help. It's not the same, but we haven't reached a desperation where we've had to lay off people and all of those kinds of things. And I'm grateful to have that kind of ministry. But if people just come on board and help us, we're going to be just fine.
And I want people to be sure to tune in on Monday, because I think we have something good we're going to be able to announce on Monday. So stay tuned.
Yeah, let me know what that is, so we want to be sure that we can do that. All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us. And if you, I already mentioned all these great books we've got that you could, Understanding and Loving books are there. There's probably somebody that's got a problem that's on the cover. That one of those books, gift of any amount, we'll send that to you. Also, you know, Club New Life, $30 a month. We'll send you the transformation packet with workbooks, the Life Recovery Bible and Journal. It's all right there. Our way of saying thank you for supporting us when it isn't easy to do so. All right, Jane, let's talk with you. How are you doing? How can we help you today? Thanks for joining us on New Life Live.
Yes, hey, and happy birthday there.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome, Alice. And I'm also a Club New Life member for many years. And
thank you.
Thank you. Work. Yeah, thank you so
very
much for the work that you do in the ministry. I was calling because actually I'm not really working during the pandemic, and I thought it'd be a great time to reach out. I have been praying a lot about trying to make a decision and how to help my son. My son has a rare condition called idiopathic hypersomnia. Are you guys familiar with that at all?
So he sleeps a lot.
Yes, and he uses a shock watch to wake up. He was diagnosed a little bit before his 19th birthday. Excuse me. He actually had a kidney disease, and some people, they don't know what the cause is, but some people with kidney diseases or concussions have this difficulty. Anyway, we've really struggled. He's really not been depressed, which is such a praise because so many people with this are because of the social isolation that can happen. But he actually wakes up with a shock watch, takes a stimulant, but he's not able to wake himself up. And so he's been really blessed. He was diagnosed right before he went out of state to college, and God has been very faithful to us to let us pay people or provide people to help him to wake up, and he does his classes late and lots of things. He has been very, very bright in the past, and of course the sleep issue causes more challenges to him academically, but he still has good grades. He's got a good attitude.
So what's the question for us then? What's the question
is,
for us?
I've really been praying for healing for him, and we pray for that every day. And also, so I guess maybe the question is we've been trying to figure out if getting a scan from Dr. Amen. We're a low-income family or middle to low-income family, and we're not sure that would be useful or helpful. I'm sure it'd be useful, but it would be very expensive for us, a large part of our income. So I wanted to find out if y'all knew much about this. One of the biggest problems is the sleep drunkenness in the morning and waking up. And there's just some concerns for him about that, and I want to support him. But even as his mother, it can be difficult sometimes. First off, we're so proud of him. We're so proud of him, and he doesn't have a bad attitude about it. But it's very debilitating in lots of ways. So first off, the question would be about the scan. And then the second thing, we struggle a lot because every day we pray for healing, and I want to keep my faith strong. And I guess those are my questions, how to really continue to be faithful with praying for healing and deciding about this brain scan. It is super expensive for our family.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me that God is providing some things for you in the midst of this, even though physical healing may not happen. And I don't know if Dr. Amen does a sliding scale at any of the clinics. And I don't know. Okay. So I don't know about that. I think I would try to find online the #1 psychiatrist in the world that treats this particular issue. Have you found that person yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a place called the Hypersomnia Foundation,
Okay.
And the
All right.
only treatment currently there's no treatment, and I stay pretty abreast on this. This has been going on for almost 2 years, and I am grateful. I pray every day that my son has a merry heart, because that is paramount in functioning.
Right.
But with this brain scan, we would do that in a heartbeat if we knew there was really something for it. It has to do with the GABA system. So it's neurological. A lot of people view my son as lazy now and make fun of him.
Yeah, it's sad.
And so with all that, we have contacted, there is no current cure. There are research studies going on, you know, and we just have to trust every day that God has a good plan for him and will provide the support that he needs.
Has he seen a psychiatrist that is part of that foundation and understands the dilemma?
Yes. He's not seen one when I've called them, and I actually even talked to Dr. Amon's sleep specialist clinic. So the person that currently does this, the issues, they don't live in our state. It's expensive to fly, and the nurse said that the treatment is not going to be any different than what we're getting here, which is a stimulant, and he wakes up with a shock watch.
Yeah. Okay, and so I'm assuming if you're saying that this is a GABA-related disorder, he has an excessive amount of that. Is that correct?
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
I think you've done all the things that a person can do. I wouldn't give up looking and searching and asking questions for new kinds of treatment. Jill, Alice, what do you guys think?
I think, Jane, in terms of, you know, you sound really on top of it, and I love that your son has a great attitude. You know, I would continue to monitor, you know, his mental health in all of this, because that can get very discouraging. Sometimes we have to live with things for whatever reason. But the good news is that treatments are advancing all the time, especially in the area of brain health. And there are, you know, besides Dr. Amon's clinics, there are other clinics as well that are on the forefront of brain treatment. And I would be continuing to look for those things and praying about new discoveries to come onto the scene. And perhaps there are even some studies that he could be a part of for little to no fee.
We tried to contact somebody on that. He doesn't qualify because he's a college student. So
okay, but down the road, So those are all the things that this is an ongoing prayer request.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. And, you know, sometimes, though, you just have to go back to this great scripture. Those who persevere receive the crown of life. And sometimes it's not you persevering with your problem. It's persevering with someone else and their problem. And I just hope and pray, you know, Jane, let me send you a copy of, Jill, what do you think would be a great book for her that might comfort her, be of support to her? The Secrets Women Keep might be a great book. You wrote that. Let me send that to her.
Sure, I
Maybe
don't
she'd
know that
like
it has to do with her son's problem, but
It has
okay.
nothing to do with that. And
Sure.
But I'll send her a Restoration Bible
it
along
has a
with your
little
book. How about that?
distraction of dealing with
Yeah.
other issues.
But
Let's
we,
do
as
that.
parents,
Listen.
we need that sometimes.
No, we
because
do.
sometimes we're more distressed by our children's problems than they are.
Yes.
And we can become overly concerned and even overly attached to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some detachment from the problem, especially if her son is doing fairly
Mm.
well.
Well, right.
And that's got to be so frustrating. And I'm glad that they've got the kind of help that they've gotten for him, and hope that that can continue. Let's go to Lynn, Brownsville, Texas, listening on a podcast. Lynn, how are you today? Welcome to New Life Live. What's going on?
Good. Well, I had a question about how to respond to my husband's financial mismanagement. Over a week ago, we had received an inheritance that he wasn't expecting, so I was expecting to pay off a majority of our debt. And then he told me he had a student loan of $24,000, whereas I originally thought the student loan was about $6,000 or $7,000. So
How long have you been married to him?
Almost 10 years.
Wow, that's rough. And so you feel like it's just he's betrayed you in that area, huh?
Yes, because he kind of was just passive about the whole, like, letting me know, and I had to kind of get it out of him because I was saying, okay, well, we can just, what is your balance, because we could pay this off. And I kept asking him, and then finally he said it was $24,000, and I didn't know how to respond. I was upset about it, but I'm the type that gets upset and then I let things go, and I forgive easily.
If you've been paying on it for 10 years, what was that balance when you got married? Do you know?
Oh, no, we've never. He took it out about 3 years ago.
Okay.
He had just finished. He was finishing up college, so he said he was going to take out between $6,000 and $7,000, and
I see.
I guess he kept taking out every semester.
So what's the question for us then? And I'm really sorry about that.
Well, how do I respond, if anything, to him since he hasn't apologized? He just kind of let it go like it was no big deal. And I told him I want to pay it off in 2 years, and he said, okay, we'll try to do that. But then I don't know what if he falls back and wants to spend money on something else instead of following the plan.
Well, let's start with you, Alice. What do you think would be helpful? Or Jill. We can start with Jill. What would be helpful for her?
Lynn, I think what you've been doing hasn't been working. And I think this does need to start with you, that you kind of easily forgive and fall back into the pattern, and it's just easier to not confront things, right? A lot of times people with spending issues do hide and lie because they have a lot of shame about it. And yet we know that spending becomes addictive and people get emotional hits from it, right? And a sense of power from feeling like they do have some money that they can spend. And so it's something that you're going to have to take a different approach with, because this is just going to build up a lifetime of resentment between you and your husband. And you don't want that between you, right? So to let him know that you have contributed to the problem by not stating what a big deal you think this is, that you and he, it's not even that it's about the money, right? That's just the content of what it's about. But it's that you guys have something between the two of you that you're not addressing honestly together. And that concerns you for the health of your marriage.
Yeah, I think you've nailed this one, that he is not the guy to be running the finances, right?
Yes. No,
Right.
I run everything pretty much. He just took this out in his own name.
But that's why would he be taking something else separate from you that you didn't know about, that you didn't sign off on?
Because I didn't agree to it in the beginning.
Okay.
And then he said it will only be $6,000 or $7,000. So I said, okay, you can do it, but in your own name. So.
So here's what I would do. I would use this as the excuse to say we got to get some help, not for finances, but about your relationship and connection and honesty and things like that, because you feel betrayed. Finance is more of a strength of yours, weakness of his, and you feel like he really let you down here. And like Jill's saying, if you don't take a different tack here, you're going to be so resentful. It's going to be hard to have a relationship with him.
But Steve, I do think something like signing up for Dave Ramsey's course might be a good idea for you guys, along with getting some help on the marriage, because it helps you see how, different people approach money differently, and to have an appreciation for, different styles in that, and learn how to work together.
And Lynn, he's probably pretty defensive and not real open to talk about the amount that he took out, and to maybe even admit how deceptive he's been about it. And I find when that's the case, if I can take on, if the person that's willing to get therapy, you, will take on as much responsibility that you genuinely can, it can really soften the defensive person to come. So you might say something like, I think I need to apologize. I've kind of been an avoider about some topics between the two of us. And for some reason, you didn't feel safe enough to divulge the full amount of money that you had taken out. So I think I need help with my approach. Would you come with me? Let's get this figured out together so that you can share with me what you do and don't have to keep it from me.
Right. And because, Lynn, you kind of encouraged him to just kind of, okay, I'm going to look the other way. You go do it. I don't agree with it, right?
And it's really important that he feels like just because of this, that you don't view him as all bad, because he's not all bad. He's got a weakness here. He's got a problem. And it's so motivating for a guy when you don't enable the problem, you don't excuse it or allow it, but you also don't judge the entirety of his being based on this particular area. And I think that, well, I think there's great potential and hope here, because you kind of got the bad news out in the open here, and you're still on his side. You're still pulling for him. So be sure. Now, we know this. We've done the research that no man has ever been nagged into changing. And no woman ever has been controlled into changing either. It doesn't work that way. Here's the answer. It's acceptance of each other. And that acceptance doesn't mean excusing the negative or the weak. It means, okay, I accept this. Now, what do we do to compensate or to correct or to deal with the reality that's there? And that's what we want to see for you. Now, if you guys would come and be involved in our intimacy and marriage workshop, these are the kind of things that either cause you to die as a couple or you build on them. They become the reason that things get better. And we see it all the time. And maybe, you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're thinking, we've got this thing. It's our stepchild. That's the thing, or it's the debt, whatever it is. You take that and you use that to grow from, versus use it as an excuse to become angry, bitter, and resentful. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need any kind of help. And once again, we wish the Dr. Alice Benton happy birthday, many, many more. You're such a great addition to what we do here. And if you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Join me at 5 o'clock for Facebook Live. It's New Life Steve or something like that on Facebook. Come join us. See you, Jill. See you, Alice.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.